Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Safety Systems. When it comes to a home theater system, and I mean a full system, top-of-the-line video, surround sound, the dimmable lighting, all controlled by your tablet or smartphone, man, Safety Systems. Those are the folks to call. You see the website right there, safetysystems.com. All right, back with Chuck, Jimmy, Will, Dante. We're talking about the paths to Atlanta. Tennessee now behind Florida. All right, now you have the tiebreaker, so all you need is Florida to lose one more game and for you to go undefeated. Now that you got so many injuries, depending on who gets back, you see Vandy upsets Georgia. You know, none of these are gimmies, especially if you're beaten up. So your path might be tougher. Florida's got Georgia and Jacksonville, at Arkansas, South Carolina, at LSU. Those in the asterisk of the league games, obviously. Thoughts on the path to Atlanta, gentlemen? Still, how secure are you in your belief that Tennessee reaches Atlanta?
I feel pretty good about it because I do think Florida's path's a lot more difficult. When you go to LSU, when you go to Arkansas, when you play the neutral site game with Georgia, and Tennessee it should be better. And I don't know how many of those injured players will be back, but Tennessee should be better than the remaining teams on its schedule. They've gone through that 4-game gauntlet. I feel pretty good about Tennessee getting to Atlanta.
Open day coming at a pretty good time.
Yes.
Perfect time, really.
Desperate in need of it. Your thoughts on
Well, I'm really glad the SEC stepped in and said Florida has to go to LSU,
Yes.
or they at least have to do that. And then I think the next most losable game they have is at Arkansas. Yeah. But other than that, Tennessee, look, you got to take this week. You got to get healthy. I think you got to self-scout some and go back to some fundamentals. But I still like Tennessee's chances. But you got to keep your eye on the prize and take care of business, or it's not going to matter.
Gentlemen, your thoughts on Tennessee, Florida? Who's got the easier path? You still think Tennessee makes it to Atlanta?
Yeah, I think so, and especially with this is the perfect time to have this bye week. You get to get guys healthy. You talked about it, where you can do some self-scout. I mean, this is an opportunity that they haven't had to be able to look back on the film and see which guys. Okay, you know, they may want to shuffle some guys around. Yeah. You can look at the defense and see. And actually, you know, get down to the strategy and see if this is what they want to continue to do. It's a good time. You can get back to, you know, doing tackling drills. I mean, this is the time where you can almost hit like a reset button before you start the rest of the second half of the season.
Yeah, and you can give extra time to guys who probably you didn't think they'd be playing at this point, and they didn't think they'd be playing, at least not in this role. So you can give them a little more attention that probably first string, second string, third string guys got earlier. Will.
Well, I look at the rest of the team Tennessee has, and I think you can outscore each one of those teams. I think, you know, if you go and look at Florida, what they have to go against, they're going up against pretty physical teams. I mean, even though LSU's not where they were, they're a physical team. Arkansas is a very physical team. Georgia's a physical team in some sense. If you have those 3 games in a row, that Arkansas game's probably going to put some guys on their injured reserve list as well.
I want to see. Here's the thing: we tend to forget the earlier games. It's whatever happened last is what we pay attention to. This offense struggled when it had a shaky offensive line against Appy State and Ohio. I would put any of those remaining SEC teams, well, maybe not Kentucky, but I would put any of those remaining SEC teams up against Appy State and Ohio into that level. So if you don't get some of these offensive linemen back, I don't know that you can go out there and just stick 40 on them.
And you mean defensively?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think you're right about that. Because Vanderbilt, I mean, beating Georgia, they at times have had a pretty good defense, Vanderbilt, this year. And South Carolina at times has shown up, although Georgia ran for over 300 on them. But I do think that the Tennessee offensively should be able to impose its will on those teams offensively.
I agree they should. I want to see what they come back with in terms of offensive line. Also, I'll give them credit yesterday. The turnovers went way down. Yeah. That's something you have to do down the stretch too. If you're beaten up, last thing you want to do is also give people short fields and kill your own drives with turnovers. So I don't think it's going to be as easy to Atlanta as perhaps we thought before the season, but I do think they still make it. When we come back, Tennessee and South Carolina is the next game up. It's Chuck versus Sterl. We're going to do the whole thing. See who's 7-0 on the year and who's 0-7. Gee, take a guess. Come on back on the Sports Source.